Oh boy. Well, I'm the one who decided to make a video on this, so none of you guys saw this coming. But anyway, here we go. Oh my god. Welcome back to another video, guys. And today, I am going to be pointing out some movies that I will never review on my channel. Technically, this is a list of movies that I find very terrible, except for maybe one, which technically isn't terrible, but I wouldn't necessarily consider it that good. But this is technically, I'm going to go through a list of movies that are so bad that I will never talk about them on my channel. And I actually wanted to do a video like this for a while because I've done many movie reviews and I've only given a few movie reviews, like D's or F's maybe, and stuff like that. Like movies like the Emoji Movie, I gave that F. Truth or Dare, I gave that an F. Well, the Emoji Movie at first I gave it a C- if you saw that review. But the reason for that is because my opinions weren't necessarily ready for that movie. On second viewing of the Emoji Movie, I hated every minute of it. So I hated the Emoji Movie, I hated Truth or Dare, I hated Prawn Up 3 Double D, I hated Pixels. I didn't even like Friday the 13th Part 2. I didn't like Urban Legend. I didn't like Annabelle. Those are examples of movies that I did not like, that I thought were bad or terrible. So today I'm going to be going through a list of movies that I will never review on my channel because they're so bad, or movies that I don't even care for. So let's talk about our first movie on this list, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Oh my god. This movie is so bad. Just look at the title. This movie sucks. This is like the definition of... This is like the pinnacle of terrible movies, technically. This movie, I swear to you, I can laugh through this movie every time I watch it because it's so freaking bad. It is that bad. Who thought of the idea of just fruit, like grocery items or stuff like that, just mutating and killing people? Like, what? It's so stupid. This movie is one of the worst. And I am definitely never reviewing this on my channel. Now, let's talk about the next movie on this list. And the next movie is very sad because this is technically a sequel to one of the greatest movies of all time. One of the greatest classics. Jaws: The Revenge. It's sad that I'm even talking about this movie. First off, this movie technically ruins a classic film. Jaws, the very first Jaws film. This film literally has nothing. It has no direction. It can't even give us interesting characters. No action, no suspense. The shark doesn't even look that interesting. And the sequences are so poorly edited, and it looks like trash, honestly. Now, before I talk more trash about this movie, you guys might want to hear my opinion on Jaws 2 and 3. What do I think about the other Jaws sequels? Well, Jaws 2, I don't think it's that great. It's not terrible. It could have been better. Jaws 3, I hate it. I absolutely hate Jaws 3, but this one is... Jaws: The Revenge is 10 times worse. It's absolutely 10 times worse. This film delivers absolutely nothing. The first Jaws has been a classic, and it will always remain a classic. This film absolutely dumps on Jaws, and... Considering, I just want to point out one thing. This, and I'm not technically going to spoil in the in-depth of this, but there's a certain scene in Jaws: The Revenge that was taken from the first Jaws film. I'm not going to spoil what scene, but it is riveting. It is so riveting. You can tell that you can tell that the people working on this film weren't even trying. This is almost a film that something like little kids would create and release it in theaters, like kindergartners or something. What? And do you want to know the worst part about Jaws: The Revenge? The creature in this film literally takes everything to the extreme. It takes everything personal. The plot to this movie is literally one shark coming after the Brody family because of all the other sharks that died. That's why the film's called Jaws: The Revenge. First off, sharks would never take anything personal. It's an animal. It's not supposed to take anything personal. This movie is so bad. I'm telling you, it ruins a classic. Jaws, the first Jaws, is one of my all-time favorites. This film is literally one of the worst. Jaws: The Revenge sucks. Stay away from it if you haven't watched it, if you haven't seen it. Now, let's talk about another movie that I will never review on my channel. This movie actually barely just came out, too. Robin Hood. Yes, the new Robin Hood. The brand new Robin Hood that came out like maybe, I don't know, 2 days ago? Yeah, this movie is released in theaters, guys. Don't watch it. I am telling you, do not watch this movie. It sucked. Like, oh my god. I cannot believe how bad this movie... This movie honestly I didn't have any expectations for this movie, and I wasn't really surprised on how this movie turned out to be, but my god. Whoa. Whoa, this movie is pretty bad. Seriously, don't spend your money on this. Don't. If you're planning on going to see a movie this weekend, go see something like, I don't know, Creed 2 or something. That's out in theaters. The Rocky movies are amazing. Or go see something like Ralph Breaks the Internet. That's something I'm going to see tomorrow. Hopefully. But do yourself a favor, this movie is a terrible adaptation to the character of Robin Hood. Don't go see this. Please don't. First off, the quality in this movie doesn't even look that good. The action sequences are so terribly edited, too. Like, this movie doesn't even look good. Like, I was watching this movie and just looking at the technical qualities of this movie, it made me want to throw up. Like, once you know a movie has bad qualities and doesn't even look good from a viewing point, you can tell you're getting something that's going to be trash. Now let's talk about number 4. Norm of the North. I'm actually embarrassed that I'm talking about this film. This movie is not only terrible, this film is something that had no right to exist. Seriously. This film, if you watch this film, you will probably feel stupid. This film has horrible animation. I couldn't sit through this entire film. I actually turned off this film because this film was getting terrible from halfway. I couldn't sit through this entire film. I seriously couldn't. The characters are so dumb. The plot is extremely boring, too. This film doesn't even have, like, great animation like Disney animation. It's more like television animation, like cartoon TV animation. Oh, and you want to know something? This film was actually supposed to release on DVD when it came out. But instead, they released it in theaters. Just why? Even the studio can't make a smart decision. Like, if you're gonna make a terrible movie, at least make a smart decision by making it release on DVD. No one wants to see that in theaters. I couldn't sit through this entire film. Halfway through this film, I hated it. Just halfway through this film, I hated it. I turned it off. Okay. Oh, let's talk about the next film. Jeez. Number 5 isn't really what I'd call Number 5 is a horror movie, too. And this is not only one of the worst horror movies. This is one of the worst movies in general. And this ruins an iconic character, honestly. Jason X. First off, the people who are fans of slasher films, or maybe even fans of Jason, the Friday the 13th franchise, there are only, like, maybe... The 3 films that I find the worst in the Friday the 13th franchise are Friday the 13th Part 2, Jason Takes Manhattan, and Jason X. These 3 films are the worst. Jason X is the worst in the franchise. I hate this. First off, this film takes place in space. Who thought it was a good idea to bring Jason into space? Outer space. That's almost like Like, what the heck? That's almost like me sending Chucky into space. No one's gonna find that scary. The reason... The first Friday the 13th film is known as a classic for a reason. The reason why that film was scary is because it was brand new and no one knew what it was. Once the franchise got further and further into more movies, it got a little more cheesy. This film didn't help at all. Jason X is atrocious. This film is terrible. Whew. Now let's talk about another film, which is number 6, and I'd actually find this funny because I'd say critics were extremely high when reviewing this movie. Sharknado. I seriously don't know how this franchise is still running. I don't. How many movies does this have? Like 6 movies or something? Seriously, if you haven't even seen any of the Sharknado movies, I wouldn't even watch the first if I were you. I just want to point out something. This film has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. How the heck? How the heck? Like, seriously. Were these critics high on drugs when they were reviewing this movie? I seriously don't know how this film got an 83. But look at IMDb. This film has a 3.3 out of 10. At least IMDb is reliable. Jeez. I'm telling you, Sharknado, like a disastrous movie about people taking down sharks that are in, like, a tornado. What? What the hell? What the heck? It is one of the stupidest ideas ever. Why? Now, I think we're getting into number 7 already, which is kind of pretty quick. Let's talk about number 7, and this is not even a horror movie, considering some people would call this a horror movie. It's a straight-up comedy. Scary movie. Now, I know some people like Scary Movie, and some people hate Scary Movie. Some people are mixed with it. I do not like Scary Movie. First off, this film makes fun of scary movies, and it doesn't even do it in a good way. This movie is extremely cheesy. In my view, at least, this movie doesn't try to be something brand new and fresh out of the box. But I'm honestly not gonna bash you if you like Scary Movie, because some people do like Scary Movie. Some people hate it. I'm in the category who hate Scary Movie, who hates Scary Movie, but I do not like Scary Movie. It's such a very, very bad movie. It makes fun of the horror genre in not even a good way. It's so cheesy, and it does... What? I honestly don't know why this movie exists. Like, who would even call this a horror movie? It's a straight-up comedy. Just because it's called Scary Movie doesn't mean anything. What? Okay, we're getting into the number 8 category. And number 8 is honestly a heartbreaking movie for me. This is a sequel to 2 franchises that I absolutely adore and love. This is a crossover. Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. Now, honestly, you guys might ask my opinion on the first Alien vs. Predator movie. I actually think the first Alien vs. Predator is not that bad. I think it's kind of entertaining. It actually brings some interesting characters. The special and practical effects look outstanding in that film. But once you bring films like Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, which is the second Aliens vs. Predator film, this film is so heartbreaking in a terrible way. This film could have been alright, like the first Alien vs. Predator movie. This film has nothing going for it. First off, this film is a slasher film. Alien was never a slasher film. It wasn't even a slasher franchise. Predator was never a slasher film or a slasher franchise either. Alien was a horror franchise. Predator was an action franchise. There's 2 totally different creatures, and they're some of my favorite creatures of all time. The Xenomorph and the Predator. This film has stupid, idiotic characters. And the quality of this movie is very dark. And I don't mean thematically. This movie looks dark. Like, just from viewing, I can't really see a lot of things that are in this film. You can hardly see the action sequences between the Xenomorph and the Predator. That's how dark this movie is. But honestly, I love the Alien franchise, and I love the Predator franchise. Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, this just absolutely ruins two of my favorite alien creatures of all time. I love the Xenomorph. I love the Predator. I am so embarrassed that these two creatures had to be a part of this film with stupid writing, stupid characters, and stupid decision makings. I will give one thing. The practical effects look outstanding in this film, but other than that, this film is horrible. Now let's get into number 9. I'm almost done with this video. Number 9 is a film that absolutely ruins one of the greatest animes of all time. One of the greatest anime shows. Dragon Ball Evolution. This film... What was this film? Why does this film exist? This film ties nothing in with the anime series of the Dragon Ball, of all the Dragon Ball series. This film ties in nothing with Dragon Ball. Not the original Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, not Dragon Ball Super. First off, the Dragon Ball series are some of the best animes of all time. Dragon Ball Z is honestly my favorite. This film lost so much potential. Who even thought it was the right idea to turn Dragon Ball into live action? Every single choice in this movie falls flat. Nothing lands in this movie. This movie looks horrible. They make our beloved characters look like stupid idiots, and the actors aren't even good. This movie is so horribly written and directed as well. Dragon Ball was perfect the way it was in anime. It was a beloved series by many fans who love anime. There was literally no reason to turn the anime into a live action film adaptation. There was no reason. Dragon Ball was perfect the way it was. Leave it. Make more animes about it. Make more series about it. There was no reason to make a live action film about it. Why? Oh my god. I am so done talking about terrible movies. But number 10 is my last movie I'm talking about. I wouldn't actually consider this movie terrible, but it's not that good. Are we there yet? So when I was young, I actually used to love this movie. This was known as one of my favorite comedies. Now that I'm older, I'm seeing that this movie does not hold up, actually. This movie isn't terrible. I kind of like it, honestly, still. I still kind of like it. It's just not that good anymore. How I viewed it, at least. The characters aren't really that interesting, actually. I mean, they have some moments. The acting is fine. The story is all about over the place, honestly. But I used to love this movie as a little baby, or as a little kid, actually. But now as I'm getting older, I'm actually starting to appreciate this movie less more. And I guess it's coming from the fact that when this movie came out, not a lot of people liked this movie from the start. But from viewing point, I view this movie on, and this movie doesn't really hold up anymore, and yeah, I don't find this movie terrible. It's just not that good. It's not that good. But anyway, and I guess that's why I'll never review it, because I personally had a different opinion on it when I was a lot younger, but now that I'm older and I review movies, I look at films like Are We There Yet differently and stuff like that. Or films differently. But I still love movies. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I almost said review. This is not a review. Thank you guys so much for watching this video of me talking about 10 movies that I will never review on my channel. Wow, this was a fantastic video to make. I loved making this video. I seriously... Wow, okay. I'm not even going to talk anymore. I'm not. These movies on this list, except number 10, are so terrible. They're so bad. Do not watch them. Don't. Seriously, don't. Anything else, please don't watch them. Don't watch them. Don't watch them. Please, don't. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Look forward to more reviews or reviews that I'll be doing for Disney Movie Month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and You guys are the best. I love every single one of you. Look forward to more reviews that'll be coming very soon. And as always, I am Mario Fan 520, and I will see you next time. Peace out. Well, that was a fun video to make.